I'm Kerry Jeffrey of Emotional Autoimmunity, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, counselor, and life coach. And I work exclusively with people online all around the world to give them the essential skills and mind shift tools that they need to live their best life with chronic illness. And this includes helping you safely eliminate the trauma and the grief that often go along with chronic illness. Now, as someone who lives with chronic illness myself, so I have 4 autoimmune conditions. So I have Hashimoto's, celiac disease, antiphospholipid syndrome, and more recently, type 1 diabetes. We know that there are certain things that people tend to say over and over again that can get really annoying really fast. So in my last video, I talked about what you can say to people. I can't, my mind's just gone blank now. I can't think about what it is, but it will come back to me. I'm going to deal with the second biggest thing that people say, which is, are you still sick? Or variations of that. Oh, but I thought you were better. The first video I was talking about, but you look so well, and that is how to deal with that when people sort of make that assumption that you look too healthy to have chronic illness. So you can look that up. That was the last live video that I did. But this one is in answer to those, are you still sick? And there are variations on this. So I think the first thing to understand with this is to not take it personally, because people just don't get the fact of chronic illness. They don't understand that you can have an illness that actually doesn't get better or can't be cured. So one of the best responses to the question, like, are you still sick? Or I thought you were better, is to just simply say, well, actually, the condition that I have doesn't have a cure. So it's really going to be with me for the rest of my life, and all I can do is manage it, right? Because in almost every case, unless somebody is being exceptionally rude or dismissive of me, then I want to try and educate them and get them to understand, because sometimes it's just simple curiosity or people just can't understand it. The variations of this are one that I find now living with type 1 diabetes, is that people ask me things like, oh, have you got it under control yet? And my answer to that is, well, no, because type 1 diabetes actually can't be controlled with insulin alone. There are so many different factors that affect my blood glucose levels, including temperature, sleep, stress. There are just so many things. So what I'm attempting to do with injecting myself with insulin is to manually do the work of a very complex organ of my body that works in conjunction with a whole lot of other factors, right? So it really can't be controlled. I do what I can to the best of my ability. And that depends on how much I feel like talking about it, how much I feel like explaining. And another variation that people might say as well, but oh, I thought you were getting better. Like I saw you on Instagram the other day and you were out and you looked like you were better, right? And the answer to that is, well, with the chronic condition that I have good days and bad days, right? And the interesting thing about it is that I often don't know what I'm going to get. So on the good days that I have, then I want to do as much as I possibly can. But that doesn't mean that I still don't have the illness, right? Because it can't be cured. It's just something that I live with and that I need to manage. So first thing, understand that most people, when they say, are you still sick? Or aren't you better yet? Or I thought you were getting better, they're not doing it to judge you, or they're not doing it to be nasty. They just have no concept of what chronic illness is like. And so the best response to that is that no, there's actually no cure for the condition that I have. It's something I'm going to have to manage for the rest of my life. So depending on the illness that you have, you can always attempt to educate people depending on how you feel, of course, depending on the attitude it's being said with, depending on how you're feeling about it. Sometimes it can just be a simple, like, no, nope, I'm still sick. still like I've been, it's not going to get any better, right? It just depends on what you want to say. So I hope this has been useful for you. I do like to come on and share all these little mind shift tools and skills, and a lot of the way that you manage chronic illness is dependent on the relationships that you have and how you think people are judging you, how you feel about being someone with a chronic illness, and getting the right mindset first, having the right attitude, knowing what to say, knowing how to communicate, gets you back in a feeling of control, right? It just makes life and your relationships so much easier. They're all skills and they're all things that I can teach you. So if you want to know how I can help you, or you want to find out about my programs, my online therapy programs, you can book your free discovery session with me anywhere in the world, online, as long as our time zones match up. So I hope this has been useful for you. Any questions, any comments, let me know, and I'll be back next week to talk about something else. So bye for now.